What is good, chat? How are we doing today? All right, listen, another day, which is Friday. Congratulations, we're done with the week. Another day of roasting these manosphere people, all right? And in this case, it's not so much as roasting them, it's so much as just at this. Honestly, chat, I'm gonna be honest with you. This episode is gonna be another round of I told you so. I told you so. Listen, all right, Andrew Tate has found himself in trouble again, okay? And this is coming right after he does this weird-ass message in his boxers, basically talking about how the media has not fazed me, all right? The Matrix, they can't destroy me. I have the mindset of a freaking goddamn Batman Bruce Wayne mix, all right? And I'm ready to take it all right? I got a keto, all right? It's not the same thing that, what do you call it? I'm forgetting. But still, right? In his infinite wisdom, all right, this guy did this whole messaging stream, and guess what? Well, it turns out that he got hit with a 30-day house arrest stay on his whole situation, all right? Because his team petitioned to be off of house arrest while they're going through the whole trial period. And as you guys know, obviously he's been charged, so don't say there's no more evidence. The evidence is out there. He has been charged, okay? Now it's up to the judge to go ahead and look over the evidence and then see what's going to get moved forward and what's going to get sent back, all right? And then whatever's left over is going to trial. So what's happening right now, all right? Well, Andrew Tate's lawyers went to the judge and said, hey, while we know that we're being charged already and there's not this sort of Damocles hanging over our heads, all right, can we at least just serve out the rest of this 60-day waiting period before trial at, not house arrest, so I could be able to do things, go out and about, Andrew Tate being Andrew Tate. And the judge says, no. Matter of fact, you're going to stay on house arrest for another 30 days. All right. So they're locking him in at home for another 30 days. Now, this potentially might span the length of time the judge needs to review the case before it goes to trial. So, for instance, right, I told you earlier, the judge needs to take about 60 days to review what the prosecutors threw across their desk, right? So right now, Andrew Tate's locked in for half of that. Okay, so who knows? Maybe the other 30 days, they're probably going to shut that down too. And I could actually see an extension come into play. And why is this, right? This comes conveniently after he's doing these repeated media just appearances, right? And it's like, dude, all right, listen, I get it. You have a lot to say. You're innocent, and the Matrix is coming after you, all right? And all this wobbity dook. And you have to tell your audience what's what. But here's the thing, dude. You're not actually telling your audience what. All you're doing is sitting there demonizing the media, demonizing the Romanian government, not only just demonizing them, but you're playing this weird footsie game with the Romanian government where you're talking trash about them, about how corrupt they are, how, how the system is against you, and, they're plotting to put you away for good. And they're doing it with no evidence, by the way, because even if they find, or even if they don't find evidence and I'm innocent, well, they're still going to lock me up anyways, because the government is just so goddamn corrupt. They can't put pettiness aside and just drop the charges or drop the case. No. Even if I'm not guilty, I will be found guilty. So then he turns around in the next sentence and says, well, you know what? I put the full faith in the Romanian judicial system. I trust the Romanian government that will do what is necessary, right? So it's like, bruh, you're sitting here as one of the biggest high-profile case that's about to go on in this entire, just probably in their entire court system. All right, if you're sitting there just trashing them about how incompetent, how corrupt their system is, and then you're lobbying it under this whole matrix thing, that's credibility right there you're putting at stake. You have a lot of clout, all right? Now you got a lot of young boys running around here saying, yeah, the government's super corrupt, Romania, right? So obviously now, if it wasn't personal then, it probably at some point is personal, all right? And realistically, there was a content creator we're going to react today, and he's increasingly becoming my favorite content creator, a lawyer content creator. And, I like this guy. This guy is a good guy. I like him. But we're going to review because he actually brought up an interesting point, right? He's saying that he actually doesn't think Andrew Tate might have a fair trial. And the way he pose that argument, it kind of starts to make sense, right? Because realistically, the way Andrew Tate's going, if the same judge that locked him in jail and extended his stay for what is it, 6 months, right? If that's the same judge that did that and kept extending the stay, that probably is the same judge that extended this stay on his house arrest. And if that's the same judge that's going to be presiding over the trial, there's a problem here. All right. So who's to say that the judge that old boy is dealing with right now isn't the one he's going to go to trial with? All right. And that could make things personal, the way he's just going out about talking about the incompetencies of the Romanian government and how they're never going to be able to get it together. And then on the other hand, he's trying to say, oh, well, I have full trust in the system. Bruh, stop capping. All right. So again, all right. Now, is there a coincidence that every time Andrew Tate opens his mouth, things just get progressively worse for him? I don't know. Maybe I'm saying there's a coincidence, but some could say there's probably something more to that, all right? To me, it's like, listen, this is a good cautionary tale on how to just know when to keep your mouth shut, okay? Just know when to zip it, know when to relax and cool it, and then know when it's time to let your voice be heard. And it seems as though every time Andrew Tate opens his mouth, the real world just hits him that much harder. Matter of fact, there are a couple of videos we're going to react today. One of them basically explaining the charges, or not the charges, I'm sorry, but explaining the house arrest extension that Andrew Tate has. And then the other one actually goes into explaining how Andrew Tate's current mental state is. All right? Think about this. The very same guy that doesn't believe in depression might actually start to feel depressed. I don't know. Maybe this whole scenario or this matrix beating down on him, maybe that's just what he needed to believe, that depression is in fact a real thing. So what we're going to do, chat, is go ahead and let me know if you can hear the audio. We're going to pull the, what do you call it? Let me pull the video up. And then we'll go from there. All right, this is the one right here. All right, guys, let me know if you hear the audio.
Taken off house arrest. Well, yet again, bad news. If you want to join the real, we'll leave a link in the description. So Tate News tweeted out saying the same woman who is accusing Tristan Tate of imaginary crimes is the same woman who got caught lying about being deprived of her freedom after the CCTV footage was reviewed by Ilov Police in April 2022. Tristan Tate went out with his friends during the party. He wasn't there. Then followed up today saying, today the Tate brothers along with Georgiana Luana will find out if they remain under house arrest. There is a very high chance that the Tate brothers could be released under judicial control. Dicot wants house arrest. pray for the Tates, pray for Luana, pray for Georgiana. And then say court's decision, the Tate brothers along with Georgiana and Luana remain under house arrest during the preliminary chamber procedure. And then this is the legal documents. As you can see, it says 8:30, but as you can see at the bottom, it says defendants.
So let's look through this, all right? It says maintains the measure of house arrest against the defendants Tate the third, Emery, Andrew, Tristan, and then this is Georgiana, and then Radu, right? Until a new verification of the preventative measure, but not later than 30 days, based on Article 275, Paragraph 3, Section Pro Pen. The judge expenses advanced by state remain in charge of it with the right of appeal within 48 hours of communication and pronounced according to Art 405, Article 405, Paragraph 2. What do you call it? For FR pen by making the minutes available to the parties and the prosecutor through the mediation in the court registry today. God damn. So that's basically saying, we're going to lock you in for 30 days, but you have 48 hours to appeal this. I don't think the appeal is going to work, but we'll see what the Tate team does.
And then this is the legal documents. As you can see, it says 8:30. But as you can see at the bottom, it says defendants Tate, Emery, Andrew Tate, Tristan, Georgiana, and Luana to be put on preventive measure, but not later than 30 days. So basically, they're on house arrest for another 30 days. It is absolutely crazy. Boys, I'm sure Andrew is going to speak out, and we'll update you right away as soon as we hear some new news. So do keep our notifications.
Hold up. See, that's the problem. He shouldn't be speaking out. That's his problem. He's speaking out, and every time he speaks out, it gets worse. He should shut the fuck up and just keep his mouth shut, all right? If he was smart, but he's not smart, all right? Actually, I don't know. Maybe it is smart because me personally, I think he has no other route to turn but the media. He has no other right to turn but the media. So at this point, he has to win in the court of public opinion. And you heard what he said in his last little, meeting, or not meeting, but little emergency outreach that he did in his boxers. Y'all remember that when we covered it the other day, right? And you can tell, right? It's like, yo, you're it's like you're gonna go away for a while because there was so much uncertainty in that little spiel he did. All right, where he's talking about he's blaming the Matrix, but then sort of blaming the BBC and that Lucy chick at some point too as well. So a lot of things are just getting like real mixed up in that little spiel that he did. But it lets you know that he was very, very uncertain, and not only uncertain, but he kind of knows that the hammer is coming down. He knows this, right? And he even talked about how the BBC didn't want to talk about my mental health. I mean, mental health. I thought that wasn't a thing in your world. Why should we care about your mental health? After all, you got canceled on Twitter by saying depression isn't real. You're gonna die on that shield, bro. I'm sorry. That's where you decided to make your last stand, and now all of a sudden, when the real world, not the Matrix, the real world is beating down on you, all of a sudden now the mental health starts to become a factor, right? Now he wants everyone to care about his mental well-being, which is like, this is what we've been telling you guys all the damn time. These losers can come online and preach Matrix. They can preach masculinity, stoicism, whatever the fuck, right? And they can put the whole veneer that there are these alpha Chad or Tyrone dudes that are conquering the world and they know everything and they just have a direction and, you know, the money, the women, the cars, all that stuff, right? But at the end of the day, it's all just empty shit. It's just a thin layer that you see on the internet. That's it. Because when the consequences, and I mean the real world consequences, starts to hit these fools, especially these losers that are preaching Matrix this, Matrix that, Matrix this. Oh, this is how you should live your life. Matrix this, according to what they do on the internet. Look at how real world is treating them, and it makes you realize that the Matrix, no. When it comes up against reality, there's reality, and then there's all there is. And now all of a sudden, when he's being slapped in the face with reality, he's starting to realize maybe I might be depressed. Maybe my mental health isn't all that good. Maybe I should stop talking about this whole depression isn't real or acting like this alpha stoic guy that can take on the world type shit and just admit that I am a scared, vulnerable man. And realistically, Andrew Tate, no one is going to fault you for admitting that. All right? honestly, I think it's toxic the way you're carrying on right now. No one's gonna fault you or get mad at you for admitting that you're scared because you're going up against the full weight of the Romanian government right now, and you're worried. Admit that you're vulnerable right now. You're in a vulnerable state. All right. This is just let men out there understand that it's okay for other men to have these feelings. And maybe for once in your life, someone can look at you and actually care about you for the genuine you and not the pretentious bullshit you want us to see. But that's not me saying it. Let me play this video so y'all can understand where Andrew Tate's mental health is at right now.
Something out and it's actually worrying, something Andrew hasn't really tweeted before, and he's actually come out and said he's struggling. If you want to join the real, we'll have a link in the description. So we posted some training footage with his trainer boxing outside his house and tweeted it saying, life isn't about how hard you can hit, it's how hard you can hit while being hit. It's about how much you can give as you take. Sometimes there's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Sometimes you have to just brawl it out. Shotokan. And then followed up and requoted the tweet and said, I know what they're going to do to me. I'm struggling to sleep. For months now, I haven't slept for more than 45 minutes uninterrupted. I guess you could say I'm struggling with my mental health, but I ensure I smile every day. I'm never miserable. The only answer I can find is to train like an animal. God gave me this struggle because God wants me to be stronger. I will give him what he wants. And honestly, it's quite a worrying tweet. As we know, he says about the 3 basically things that will happen to him. 1, cancel him. 2, put him in jail. 3, make him vanish. And it's so sad. It really is.
Let me stop you right there. First of all, it's not sad. Second of all, they're not going to make him disappear, all right? The only people they're going to make Andrew Tate disappear is the mafia, all right? If they find a link between Andrew Tate and his organization and the Dwarfate, is it the Dwarfate brothers, right? The DMF group, all right? If they find a link between him and the DMF group, which is the mafia family in Romania, you're done. You're looking at 10 years because now they're attaching you to this massive criminal gambling enterprise, okay? And there's a sexual trafficking element attached to it now. That's probably the case they're trying to go for. I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. It just starting to make a lot of sense, all right? You might be looking at the full 10 years, and this is what we're talking about. He's tweeting all this stuff, like, it's like, look at the duality of his tweeting, right? On one hand, he's trying to talk about, I'm tough, and I can box this out and get my aggression in, all right? I'm a good guy, and I'm going to be okay. Nothing can stop me. And then in the other tweet, he's talking about my mental health is shaky, bro. I can't sleep. I'm getting night terrors, all right? Something's wrong. Something's wrong. Someone who does not believe in depression, all of a sudden, oh my God, you're having all of these new feelings. All of these new feelings. Maybe you need to call up MLD, all right? He's starting a healing network, all right? What do you call it? Endure Healing Network. Can somebody tell me what the name of that shit is in the chat? MLD, right? His Masculine Healing Network, or whatever it is, whatever he's calling it, all right? Maybe you can join that, and then you all can shake hands and kumbaya and sing "We Shall Endure and Overcome." It is what it is. The cyberbullying and the media bullying is gonna stop today because we gonna endure. That y'all gonna be holding hands. Hey, y'all probably inspire your audience to start a march. Y'all, hey, you call it the Andrew Tate Civil Rights Movement. All right, y'all get your little Tate stands. We'll start marching down to Washington and demand fair trial. I'm going too far into this. I'm sorry. I listen, for a guy who's made a living pretending to be something that he's not, and the same thing that got him famous, got him rich, and got him wealthy is the very same thing that is ruining his life right now. And he could be looking at potentially 10 years. Now, obviously, 10 years is nothing to sneeze at. That's some serious fucking time. That's a decade. Like life, like especially with how fast technology moves right now. Okay, he goes in, comes out a decade later. Life is different. No one's gonna remember you. You're gonna fade into nothing. You're gonna be a martyr, all right. It's just gonna be that vague thing that people knew stood for something once, but life goes on after you get locked up. I want to read this tweet, chat. I want to read this to you, all right? And I hope the Tate haters out there, or not Tate haters, what do you call it? The guys who are Tate fans, all right? The Tate stands. First of all, you got to adhere to your number one rule that your daddy posted. He said, do not be rude to other media groups, all right? So we're technically a media group, so don't be posting hate comments, okay? Be respectable like your daddy Tate told you, okay? But second of all, I want you guys to understand that all this masculine, rah-rah, tough, woof-woof, alpha dog bullshit, it actually doesn't work, okay? And you got to start understanding what reality looks like. Even though he could try to play a game for the internet, whatever the fuck, all right? Listen, these tweets where he's talking about, I know what they're going to do to me, all this bullshit, right? This is him being vulnerable, all right? So while you're watching me read this, I want y'all to understand something, especially those of y'all that bought the courses on Hustle University or the War Room that taught you how to do the same bullshit and walk down the same path. I want y'all to really pay attention because this is the end result, okay? When you live fast, you live for the Lambo, you die slow. So let's go ahead and pull this up, okay? Look at this chat. It says, I know what they're going to do to me, right? I'm struggling to sleep. For months now, I haven't slept more than 45 minutes uninterrupted. I guess you could say I'm struggling with my mental health. Even here, he's trying to like downplay it. I guess you could say I'm struggling with my mental health. But I ensure I smile every day. I'm never miserable. Nah, bro. That sentence doesn't make any sense. You can't be struggling with your mental health and not be miserable. All right. Mental health struggle is a miserable endure, bro. Like, I mean, it's horrible. The people who if they were in your shoes, they would probably kill themselves right now. And honestly, it's worrying because you're talking about deleting yourself, or not deleting yourself. I'm sorry. You're talking about getting deleted or somebody coming out here and deleting you, right? So I don't know, bro. Like, maybe you should start taking that mental health situation a little more seriously. Maybe there is such thing as depression. All right. Maybe there is such thing as, hey, me fighting the government, this shit is hopeless. All right. And now I feel like the media is against me, and there's some people on the internet that are against me, right? So it's a huge burden to endure. All right, so somebody call MLD. All right, let's. I think he needs to get into the Empowerment Healing Network. What is that? What is that? Hey, chat. What is that shit that MLD was calling it? Did somebody say what is it? Do y'all remember what it was? Hold up, we gotta pull up MLD's channel real quick. All right, I wanna see what he calls that, because what is it? It's like the Masculine Healing Network, or whatever the fuck it is. It's something stupid. Hold up, it's like, bro, like I can't believe it. Hold up, there it is, right here. What is it called? It's called the Inner Game Healing. All right, Inner Game Healing. You gotta join the Inner Game Healing, okay? Because you might need it right now, Andrew Tate. And I think if you talk to MLD right now for a limited time, he might let you do this virtually because he understands that you're on a house arrest situation, and I mean you can't necessarily leave your house, okay? So he might actually fly out to you because he's that much of a bitch. So hit him up, all right? Maybe you could go ahead and be a part of his Inner Game Healing, and you could talk about your fifis and your mental health. And honestly, I think it's a great thing that MLD is doing that, honestly, all right? The reason why he's getting criticized because he's one of them people that said endure, right? And all of a sudden, the moment the media came for him, he couldn't endure, and he started the Inner Game Healing Network, all right? So Andrew Tate, it's about time. I think it's about time to be the new member of the Inner Game Healing Network. I think that's that next best step. But let me read the rest of this bullshit. All right, and let's get into my favorite lawyer's reaction on this this whole ordeal over here. All right, so he says the only answer I can find is to train like an animal. No, I think the Inner Game Healing Network is a big answer for you, Andrew Tate. I think you need to join up and endure what's happening to you right now. He says, God gave me this struggle because God wants me to be stronger. Are we talking God or Allah? I know Allah means God, but you're not using the term Allah, and you're a Muslim, so that doesn't make any sense. Because I think you meant to say Allah gave me the struggle because Allah wants me stronger. This whole God thing and your brother still being a Christian. Listen, Andrew, All right, it's making a lot of people speculate on a couple things, okay? And the speculation is you might have just turned to Islam because you want a protection in Romanian prison, okay? And you don't actually mean it, okay? Because the way I'm seeing you talk about God, it just seems as though you use God and Allah interchangeably. And most Muslims I know, they refer to God as Allah. So I don't know what's going on here, but it's one of those sketchy things that people look at and say, "Come on, bro." I mean, you sit there and want us to believe that you got a prayer mat in there. You're praying 5 times a day or whatever. I don't even believe you were praying. I don't believe you actually prayed at all the moment you got out of jail in house arrest. Maybe you could have prayed in jail 5 times a day, but seeing you under house arrest and the bullshit you've been saying, I don't believe you've been praying 5 times a day. To be honest with you, I think maybe you've been praying once a day to the one true God. Oh shit. I'm trolling. Watch all these Tate stands come out. Allah is the only one. Allah makes everything great. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know we got to endure this, okay? We have to endure, okay? So he's talking about God, not me. At least I use the proper term. He says, I will give him what he wants. What do you mean? What do you mean giving Allah what he wants, okay? How do you know Allah wanted this for you? I mean, Allah doesn't want his children to struggle unless they committed a great sin. All right. I mean, what's going on here? So all of this is sounding a little troubling. Okay. I mean, I don't know. Some of his ardent supporters, okay, are believing that Andrew Tate might, be on the verge of something. I don't know what they're hinting at, but listen, I think the person that Andrew Tate needs to be talking to is people that actually give a fuck about him and not these people online. I'm honestly just being serious. Let's just put the jokes aside for 1 second, right? Listen, you need to be serious with people who actually care about you. Stop this media bullshit. Like, I don't know what you're doing on the social media, tweeting this shit. You're out here taunting the Romanian government. You're taunting all these other people out there, saying, hey, if you have an assault case or you believe you were aggrieved by me, go file a claim against the police. Why are you inviting that smoke? Like, there are opportunities or opportunists out there that are going to sit there and say, oh, is he saying that anybody with a claim can go file something? All right, let's bet, let's run the play. There are people out there that would do that shit, and the fact that you're inviting all of this negative energy and then you're seeing the results of all the invitations you've been sending out there, all right, you got to start talking to people. I'm talking about real people. Get off the internet. I'm sorry, bro. Myron doesn't give a fuck about you, even though they can claim they give a fuck about you. They're online right now lying about your situation. They're not being honest about what's going on with your case. We were honest the whole time. They lied. We were telling y'all that this was coming. Like, this whole situation was coming. Andrew Tate didn't predict shit. He saw the obvious, the same thing everybody else saw who was the outside looking in. We said, hey, the path that nigga's going down, it's not gonna end good, okay? Now he's walking around here talking about I predicted all this. Nigga, you didn't. Anybody could see a fucking avalanche or a fucking boulder rolling down the hill if they're staring at it, okay? If I'm looking up at a boulder and it's rolling down the hill, chances are I might want to move out the way or say, hey, there's a boulder rolling down the hill, all right? You are that boulder and you were just tumbling and tumbling and tumbling, and we all saw it. All right, you didn't predict shit. So a lot of you are watching this right now, understand that this is your future. You need to go talk to people that actually care about you. Myron not going to give a shit. Adam Sosnick definitely not going to give a shit. All these people that are hyping up your name, Patrick Bet-David, they're talking about your God's gifts and sliced bread. Like, nigga, you let all of that get to your head. They don't care about you, because the moment you got to face what you got to face, guess what? They're still going to be outside doing YouTube, probably getting more clout off your name, making more money, all right, while you're rotting in a Romanian jail because you wanted to front online. Make it make sense. So let me go to Bruce Rivers over here, because Bruce Rivers, he reacted to Andrew Tate's official indictment. So we're actually gonna cover that. Be too cool. Shout out to you for the $5 super chat. He says, dude talking shit about the country that's about to tear him up. Well, that's so dumb. It is the dumbest thing in the world. It's like you're talking trash about Romania this, Romania that. Yet they're watching you. You have a huge following, bruh. And you know for a damn fact that it's not about the Matrix. It's not about the people conspiring to get you in trouble. You know damn well it's not because of that. But you're doing that, falsely promoting this narrative in the media, and now you're putting the battery in the backs of people who otherwise wouldn't have cared about this situation. Now they're like, fuck that dude. He's going to come against our country. You're going to come in here. You're going to do these business with these women. You're going to do illegal shit. You're not going to pay taxes. You're going to be laundering your money over here, and then you're going to sit here and insult us and tell us that we're corrupt. Now we're going to take you down. And that's probably how it's working. And I mean, let's just be real. Their egos are going to be involved in this. There are going to be egos that are involved with this, especially with these prosecutors, especially with these judges that get invested in these high-profile cases. The egos are going to be involved. That's why all the reason Andrew Tate should shut the fuck up and stop talking. But he doesn't do that. He thinks that taunting his audience for his weird little incel fans is the best route to go because he wins a couple brownie points and a few Twitter posts here and there. They don't give a fuck about you. At the end of the day, if it was you or them, they would choose them. Like, what the fuck? Like, this is crazy. But shout out to you for the super chat. Let's get the Bruce Rivers reaction over here.
To another fun-filled episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, board-certified criminal defense lawyer. Why is that important? Because you're looking at this through an expert. I'm an expert in criminal law, expert in trial law. I'm board-certified by the National Board of Trial Advocacy and board certified by the State Bar Association of Minnesota as a criminal trial and a criminal law specialist. What does that mean? It means I've had a lot of trials. I've cross-examined a lot of experts. I've had 4 judges, 4 lawyers, 4 prosecutors, and some other people that I don't even know vouch for me. I've taken 2 exams. I've demonstrated proficiency and efficacy in the area of criminal law. I'm an expert in this field. And I'm not saying that because I'm all that in a bag of chips. I'm saying that because when you hear my opinions on what happens on these cases, it's with some 25 years of experience as a criminal trial lawyer. Okay. So I'm not just another talking head. And plus, we have the content genius, Michael Rivers, to thank. He is behind the camera and everything I do, it runs through him. And he is just a genius. And I love him.
I think that's pretty cool, right? A father-son YouTube channel. Where the fuck do you see that at, right? I mean, that's crazy. Like, hey, keep it within the family. Why not? That's a great example of that. I appreciate that. Cars 215. Shout out to you for the $2. Super Chat. He says, just checking in, bro. Shout out to you. Welcome to the show. I appreciate it, guys.
Him to death. So let's get into this. Today we are reacting to Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate has been formally charged, and we're going to get into that in a second. But, you guys know all about my grandparents, right? Well, here's the other thing. You don't just use eSign. You want to be the first one in the door, use eSign.com. Download the app. You get 3 and fast. So let's get into this. Andrew Tate has been charged formally with human trafficking, rape, and forming a criminal gang to sexually exploit women. Okay. So remember what I told you about sex trafficking, what they need to show? Force, fraud, or coercion, right? So he and his brother Tristan and the 2 women all got charged with forming a criminal gang to that end. Sex trafficking, by its nature, involves force, fraud, or coercion. There is some evidence of force, apparently. There is evidence of coercion in the form of debt. And I'll get to that in a second. And then there's also the fraud, the lover boy, trying to get them to come, because you're going to get married and all these promises. And he gave these videos out, or he created these videos to say you need to control the women and make them think that they're the only one and blah, 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 make them loyal. That whole scheme, by his own words, are a form of fraud. And whether it's force, fraud, or coercion, or a combination of the 3, that's going to be a problem for him.
And I wanted to stop it right there because what he breaks down is what these Tate fanboys don't freaking understand for some goddamn reason, and I don't know why. They're sitting here saying, oh, well, especially Myron. But I'm like, Myron, so somebody who's a former Homeland Security person who's been investigating trafficking, you sure sound stupid, all right? This is why you're not a goddamn lawyer, and this is probably why you're not working in that department anymore. But realistically, yes, Bruce Rivers just broke down what they classify and what they need for a case against trafficking, right? And he was talking about the coercion, he was talking about the intimidation, he was talking about the power and all these different things, right? Those are the things that you need to prove. And based off of what the prosecutors already leaked to the media, the what do you call it? The WhatsApp messages, the phone records, all of that stuff, right? And you got the accusations from the women, and one of them who claims that she was raped by him, right? Listen, when you start putting all this stuff together, it starts to form a pretty solid case. Matter of fact, you have to be either emotional or willfully ignorant to believe that he's innocent otherwise. And some of you guys would say, well, this Evie person doesn't exist. This Rosie or Posey or whatever this person doesn't exist, okay? It's fake, it's fake, it's fake, all right? But you don't have any evidence to prove that it's fake. Myron does this whole fucking revision of the the security cameras, and he's like, look, they're ordered, and they're able to go in and out or move around, and they're not being held against their will. It doesn't, just because they're physically not being restrained, and A, you don't see that, and B, they had 7 other houses filled with these women. That 7 other houses filled with this women. First things first, Andrew Tate claims that it's an old business of his. He's no longer invested in that. Then why did they find 7 houses that were raided that were filled with women doing this crap? Like, make it make sense. It tells you that he was lying about all this other shit, right? When he was talking about, I don't do the camming business no more, he was lying about that. He still was invested in the camming business. Matter of fact, that was the whole reason he left the UK to Romania. If it wasn't his current business, they wouldn't tie 7 houses to the Tate companies. That makes no fucking sense. How is it that, like, chat, does that make sense? Someone who's going to sit there and lie and say, no, I'm no longer in the cam business, all right? I don't do that anymore. I'm in all these other investments, right? And then they raid your houses and they find out, oh, wait, this guy has 7 other houses doing the exact same shit connected to them. Obviously, it would indicate very strongly so that whoever is running these houses are probably responsible for the cam business. Oh, wait, it's Andrew Tate. So that by definition means he is still invested and involved in the business, meaning he never left since 2017 or however, since he started that shit. He started it and he stayed into it because that was his main source of dough. So do you guys who are coming out here saying, look at the tapes, look at the DMs. She said they're going to make a Hollywood movie out of it. Meanwhile, y'all are taking those WhatsApp messages completely out of context, right? You're going to say, well, reaction channels, they take it all out of context. That's why they need to be taken care of, right? Because these reaction channels will take it out of context. Meanwhile, here you are taking a WhatsApp message out of context to fit your dumb narrative that Andrew Tate is somehow innocent. They found 7 houses. 7 houses connected to that. He's done. So any of y'all talk about he's innocent, you're dumb or you're ignorant or you're emotional. It's one of those two. But he's guilty. Guilty as sin. Misinterpretation. Shout out to you for the $5 Jenny says, I tried to say nothing to the DA might want to play in the court. Andrew should have listened to 50. Facts. 50 cents, bro. That dude is knowledgeable, especially how to stay out of trouble. All right. Listen, the one thing that scares 50 the most is a RICO. That's the one, especially when y'all remember when 50 had like that, when Tekashi 6ix9ine was on the come up, and 50 had that kinship with Tekashi 6ix9ine because, 50's also from New York, right? So essentially he was like, I like Tekashi. I've been warning him, but realistically, bro, I don't fuck with them Ricos. He was serious because he saw the route Tekashi 6ix9ine was going with these Bloods, and he's like, yo, hey, you don't need to be doing all this. But hey, I would take my step back because I don't fuck with that Rico. Rico is serious. It's not a fucking joke. It's pretty much the cheat code for like a lot of federal agencies right now. If they want to prosecute you, they're just going to do it under Rico. If they can prove that you were part of an organized crime enterprise, you're done. You don't even have to pull the trigger. You're done. And they found, listen, these mafia guys that are attached to the Tate fortune, listen, some of them they were saying are murderers. They said that some of these guys are murderers, bro. You can eat it, bro. I'm telling you, it's so easy to link a lot of these crimes to the top. It's not even funny anymore. Like Andrew Tate, you got to stop playing. That's why you're probably running scared right now.
And here's the other thing. So now the judge has a file, and he's got 60 days to review this file. And I'm not exactly sure what that process entails. We're going to look into that a little bit more so we can kind of better inform you as to what that is. But right now, I don't exactly know. This is brand new information. But think about this. And I'm not sure who his judge is going to be for this trial. But if it's the same judge that's been, denying him bail and has been reviewing, is how are you going to get a fair trial with that guy? Because he's already made a determination that forced fraud and coercion and all this stuff exists, right? So remember we had that 80-page order that detailed a lot of the crimes. And so you don't get a jury in Romania. What are the allegations that they're trying to extricate themselves from? So according to the BBC, the alleged victims were taken to buildings in Ilfov County where they were intimidated, placed under constant surveillance and control, and forced into debt, according to a statement from the Romanian prosecutors. The defendants allegedly then forced the women to take part in pornography. Well, we know they did that, with the OnlyFans and that kind of stuff. So let's just look at the other things that they took from, aside from the cars, because we already covered the cars. Remember, they took all their fucking Bugattis, or whatever they had, how many ever cars they had. They took 14 luxury watches, a Bitcoin. Remember in his videos, he talks a lot about Bitcoins. He had 16.10 Bitcoins, which is worth $294,000, 4.97 Bitcoins worth $90,000, and 0.003 Bitcoins worth $58.44. I don't know why he put that in there. But so they're going after him pretty hard. And they're trying to take everything. Anytime you get assets from illegal means, that they become subject to forfeiture. And so that's why that's an issue for them. So in response to this news, Mr. Tate decides to so eloquently put out a piece. I don't know what you want to call it. He makes an official statement after he gets charged. Let's just take a look at this. This is so long.
Hold up, before he does, Cars 2015. Shout out to, not 2015, 215. Shout out to you for the $5 super chat. He says, I love how the Tate Defense Force never mentioned any of this info you cover. 4D chest though. Yeah, more like 5D, because because 4D, it's kind of like you gotta go through time, and then you gotta go through the time, and then go through that, because then you gotta get into the fifth dimension, and then all of a sudden that's where all the hidden plays are. But if you see it in 4-dimensional chess, even us trying to describe the four-dimensional play to them, they can't understand it, right? It's got to be in 5D form, because Tate is that smart, and it's that much of a genius of our time, right? No, it's crazy. Everything is just out there. They just want to ignore it because it's convenient to their case. Okay, listen. One thing you got to give Andrew Tate is he's built a very profitable brand. A profitable brand, not only to his companies, but a profitable brand to other people, even channels that are covering Andrew Tate. Even a channel we just played earlier, that's a Tate fanboy channel. All they do is play videos of Tate, right? That's it. And those videos get hundreds of thousands of views. They're literally selling their souls to Andrew Tate. The same with these content creators who are conveniently not speaking out against this whole Tate situation. They're selling their souls to the Tate clout empire, because that Tate name brings hundreds of thousands of views. Like new channels, if you want to get started, you basically got to start sucking off Tate. That's it, because it gets money. So he's built that ability to be able to not only monetize off of his brand, but other people can monetize off of his brand. And he doesn't even have to, you know what I mean? So a lot of people, they're just good because they're making so much money, or they're benefiting so much from Andrew Tate. It's like they got the blinders on, right? All of a sudden, the evidence is fake. All of a sudden, the girls are lying. All of a sudden, this. All of a sudden, that. All of a sudden, all these excuses. And before you know it, they start to get sucked in a matrix of their own creation. All right. Meanwhile, looking at us and telling us that we're the ones who are still asleep, and we're the ones who are not understanding what's going on, and we're the ones stuck in the matrix. Meanwhile, all they're doing is just projecting. They're projecting. That's what it is. Because every single time they have been wrong and we have been right. Because we live in reality, not the fucking Matrix. But shout out to you for the super chat. R. Louise 215. Shout out to you for the $5 super chat. He says Tate doesn't need to worry about the Matrix. It's the people in the business he's in business with who can't afford for him to snitch is the problem. Facts. This is the factual statement because listen, I think they're going to hit that mafia angle hard. If Romania wants to clean up their streets because the mafia right now controls a good majority of the gambling rackets going on right now in Romania. Tate himself owns 2 buildings that the mafia are currently using. All right. So there's a lot of links there. They arrested another Romanian native. His name is Vlad, who runs a sex trafficking ring connected to the Tates. So he has his own ring of 7 girls, but he's connected to the Tate organization too as well. They find that if they come to find out that this Vlad guy is also connected to the mafia, he might be the link. Okay, chat. He might be the link that connects the Tate enterprise to the Tate brothers, right? That's basically it. So I really think that's why if he keeps talking about they're going to get me, they're going to kill me, or, you know, how he keeps saying he can see the future, right? If he keeps saying these things and insinuating these things, he might actually be worried about something else that we actually don't know. Maybe he realizes that he might actually have to snitch if it comes down to it. 10 years is a long fucking time. And realistically, if this guy can be out in a year or he can be out in 2 years and still have time to salvage whatever's left of his social media careers, he'll do it. But that means you gotta rat on somebody because you can't be guilty of sin looking at a definite 10 years and all of a sudden, because I don't think he's going to do the full 10 years. I think he's probably going to do 2. He's going to do some time. I think he's probably going to do 2 years, right? But if he does 2 or 1 or even less than 1 year, but he has all this evidence against him, that should indicate that this guy told on somebody. This guy pulled a 6'9", all right? And that's why he's worried about the Matrix deleting him, right? Because why else would he be saying that? No, chat, why else would he be saying that? And it's not like he hasn't been like what do we call moving around with unsavory parties even before he got famous, right? Because he had a bunch of gambling debt back in the day too, and he was worried about people getting him. So this guy gets himself in all this fucking trouble. It's not even funny. But Shotzi for the super chat. I kind of went in on that one, but let's continue.
So I just wanted to have an informal conversation. I
just want to have an informal conversation without my shirt on.
I was going to put a suit on and do this formally, but I think it's better if I do this informally.
Yeah, because, and here's the thing. If that's just my client, I'm pulling my fucking hair out. I don't want my client making any public statements. You've seen the recent interview with Donald Trump, which is just a disaster. When you have a pending case, when you have public figures like this, the public figures, remember Alec Baldwin, he did the same thing. They get on the air and then they spew shit, and everything they say related to the case is 100% usable in court.
Highlighting some of the things that everybody already knows about how the Matrix operates and what they're trying to do to me and what I believe is going to happen next.
Just so you know, there is no Matrix.
Next. It's quite interesting that they are attacking me and attempting to vilify me at the exact same time, whereas real predators, which work for the media establishment, are being ousted.
What you're going to hear in this is not him defending himself or talking about the actual substance of the allegations. He's just going to talk about the media.
So it's really interesting to do a juxtaposition and do a comparison, right, between how they will treat Philip Schofield
and how they will. He's talking about the media. He's not talking about the court in Romania.
And that's a good point because he does such a good job of mixing the two. It actually gets his audience up in a twist, right? Because what he's listing off is the media. He's attacking the media, but he's making it seem as though his media attack is actually spilling over to his legal attack. And it's not the case. It's like, y'all got to realize something. Andrew Tate's legal battle is completely different from his media tirade and hatred for them, especially the BBC. Those two things have nothing to do with each other. It's actually they do, and the fact of it's making Andrew Tate's situation worse. That's what it's doing. But in reality, he's trying to make it seem like his attack, being attacked by the media, or his attack on the media, right, is the reason why he's going through a legal battle right now. And it's not the case. He's going through a legal battle based off of his life decisions to run a webcam business that is now being linked to a criminal organization. That's his punishment, right? Being judged by the Romanian government for that. Not for the bullshit he says in the media, but it's just that people fall for this crap. It's not even funny.
Who is confirmed as a groomer, who is admitting he has committed sexual crimes.
And if we've seen his prior videos, guess who's also admitted to being a groomer? And, you know, make them fall in love with you, make them do this. And I know some of you guys are just, you know, licking his balls on each side saying, oh, but he can't do any wrong. And it's not really illegal to make somebody fall. Well, yes, when you extract some commercial sexual enterprise out of somebody under false pretenses, that is illegal. That is the crux and crumb of sex trafficking. It is.
Boom. Hey, Tate fanboys, did you hear that? Did you hear that? So some of you like Myron, Softnik, they bitch. God damn. That name sucks. But still, did you hear it? Y'all are saying, well, they could have left at any point in time. The girls weren't being held against their will. Y'all not getting it. The fact that the girls were there under false pretense, okay? And while they were there, they were being taken advantage of, all right? You know, the whole tax situation, Andrew Tate was trying to pretend he was paying for the girls, but it turns out they weren't paying. Guess what? He might be hit with money laundering charges. But going back to it, it's illegal. That's the basic foundation for their trafficking case. So the fact that you guys are overlooking this and you're talking about, oh, the girls could have left whenever they want. No, it's not about that. How did they get there? And if they can prove, which they already did, but y'all won't ignore it, that Andrew Tate lured these women under pretense of marriage or the pretense of falling in love or pretense of anything else other than what they ended up doing, it's trafficking. I think you guys are not looking at reality. Stop listening to this Matrix bullshit. It's not real. The reality is he's gonna do some time. That's just what it is. Mackenzie, shout out to you for the $2. He says, red pill is the new woke. Red pillism is a danger. It must be stopped. It breeds incels. It breeds fanatics. It breeds radicals. It needs to be stopped, but not all of it. All right, I don't know. It's just that because some of the red pill, it actually makes sense, and it's like, listen, there's some points that make sense. I'm not gonna just lambast the entire red pill movement, but it's just that when you get idiots like Andrew Tate, when you get idiots like Myron Gaines, when you get idiots that come in like MLD and they completely bastardize the movement, they trivialize it. Now it means the red pill. What does that mean? It means money, getting bitches, and Andrew Tate. That's basically it. So that has to go. Maybe they got to rename the red pill into something else. Honestly, I think y'all used to go live life in the real world and stop worrying about these pills, but I digress.
And how they'll treat me, a man with no convictions and no admission of sexual crimes.
Not yet. And he does self-snitch quite a bit.
Look at the differences in the headlines. Look at how soft they are in their interviews with him.
You've had quite the week. How are you?
That guy does look like a sex offender. I'm not gonna lie.
Look at how now, after only 2 or 3 days, the headlines are saying we should forgive him and feel sorry for him.
This matters not to what's going to the road that lays in front of him. It just doesn't. It has nothing to do with it. He's looking to build public sentiment to keep his little empire of incels going.
And let him off. Whereas me, who's been under constant media assault for over a year, they never let up. They never change.
One of the problems that, he puts a lot of content out there. So there's a lot to comment on, and there's a lot to digest, really.
Someone sent me a clip yesterday of Philip Schofield saying he's going to kill himself and how sad he is.
Last week, if my daughters hadn't been there.
Who cares? Honestly, you know, sex offenders, there is no cure for them, right? And so what he really is unwittingly doing is comparing himself to another sex offender. And whether you like it or not, he's putting themselves right next to the guy.
I wouldn't be here.
Why do they keep pushing me? Why do they keep pushing me, playing the sympathy card? And all the headlines are now like, yeah, we can't keep attacking this poor man. For 1 year, they've attacked me, and they will not stop.
It will not stop.
And this highlights the difference between the people who are on the side of the establishment and the people who are not on the side of the establishment. I've been offered to sell my soul very many times.
Okay, now we're what? A little over 2 minutes into this, and he doesn't talk one bit about the sum and substance of the allegations because he can't.
Facts. Again, this is what I'm saying. Like, that's why every time he comes out and says something, it's always this vague in the Matrix. They're coming to get me. This weird bullshit. It's always that, but it's never the facts and the crux of the case. He's not actively disputing what the allegations are. This Evie person, he's dismissing it and saying it's not real, but he's not disproving what the evidence within that case that they were alleging is. He can't do it because realistically, they can use it against him in court. So his whole argument has to result to media attacks, which is cheap, by the way, but then he has to result to media attacks and then turn himself out to be a victim / martyr, right? By saying that the media is attacking him, meanwhile he's attacking the media. It's like, bruh, you're talking about someone paid you $60 million. I would drop that receipt. If you actually have proof that there's a conspiracy that companies out there came together to offer you $60 million to shut your mouth, put a hat on, and be a dancy little monkey, in your words, then where's the receipt? Because the prosecutors, they're dropping their receipts, and they got no problem dropping their receipts. But you, on the other hand, are just saying bullshit. And the worst part about it is you're giving these kids false hope to believe that there is some matrix out there. Where is the proof? Like, this is crazy.
I want everyone at home to understand, you do not become the most Googled man on earth, especially amongst the demographic of young men, which have money to spend.
Shut up. You are the most Googled man on earth because of a unique marketing strategy that you started that was so potent, even Mr. Beast copied it, okay? And that was a whole marketing where you have a bunch of people who you have your affiliate link, but then you just have them market the crazy shit that you say by putting it on TikTok. So you had a bunch of minions going out there creating TikTok accounts on your behalf, basically copying what you're saying on YouTube and other people's platforms. And because you were so outrageous and a lot of people were out there spreading your TikToks and creating these accounts and spreading your messages, you blew up like crazy. That's basically you're using that's like exponential law going into effect, because like every single one of your audience members are literally creating accounts and then promoting your videos out there. They don't have to work. They don't have to get a camera. They don't have to sit there and create a content of their own. No. These are the ultimate clout chasers. They just repeat and copy and post or repost the crap that you say on YouTube. That's it. That's how you blew up to be the most Googled man, because another people reposted that shit and said, who the fuck is this guy? Like, what is going on here? Oh, shit. He's saying some really crazy things. And you got the attention. But it wasn't because you were this good. I mean, maybe people bought into the hype afterwards, but realistically, that's how you blew up. That's how you became the most Googled man on earth. It wasn't because you were just this inherently great guy and just worth talking about. No, your marketing strategy was genius. Like that's, if anything, that's probably the only respect I have for him. His marketing strategy was, in fact, genius. Like even Mr. Beast copied it, bro. Everybody's copying it now because he set the trend.
Vulnerable young men. You know what? Let me just give a statement out to these vulnerable young men. You know, you're never going to have a Bugatti. You know, you want to know what the color of my Bugatti is? I never would have one, period. Even if I had, fuck you money, I would never have a Bugatti. And the reason being is to change the brakes, it's like 25 grand a wheel. I don't know if it's quite that much, but it's pretty close. It's not real. His promises of a future for you guys is not real. What's real? Working hard every day, going to school, getting a college education, finding a wife, loving a family, getting something together and building slowly. And all of a sudden you look back on it, look what I built. This get rich quick bullshit is just never real.
Without very large companies and corporations becoming extremely interested in you. I've been offered $50 to $60 million by companies I'm not going to name.
Why wouldn't he name them? Probably because it's bullshit.
Facts. Listen, prove the Matrix exists and drop the names, drop the list, become Edward Snowden. What is that guy's name that had the WikiLeaks? What's his name again? Can somebody put his name in the chat? Right? And those are martyrs. Those are people that literally risked their lives for Americans to have information on what the government was doing. And we saw how badly the U.S. government went after them, all right? They used every trick in the book. Julian Assange, all right? Shout out to you, Travis. Thank you so much. Julian Assange, okay? Listen, those are people that if you want to talk about a matrix going after, dumb are going after it. And they're not out here talking about truths or talking about the same generic red pill bullshit that you're out here talking about. They're actually exposing real shit. They're actually exposing conspiracies, government cover-ups. They're exposing that crap, and the government doesn't like it. That's the real bullshit, not the crap that he's talking about online. He's just getting held accountable by Romanian government for committing crimes. But Julian Assange, Edward Snowden, what's the other one? There was another one on there, right? Chelsea is it Chelsea Handler or what's it? Well, not Chelsea Handler, Chelsea Manning, right? Chelsea Manning, right? That's another one. All these whistleblowers got the full weight of the government and they were relentless. You, however, you're not being attacked for your free speech. You're not being attacked for any of that. It's for the crimes you committed. You see, with Julian Assange, the government had to make up shit to get him. You understand that? Edward Snowden, the government had to make up shit to get them. You told on yourself. You told them the evidence that they need. They didn't have to make up anything because you were bragging about it. Jesus.
I mean, if somebody was going to give him $50 to $60 million just to shut up, I mean, if he's not part of the Matrix, why wouldn't he name him? Is he part of the Matrix? I mean, clue you in. There is no fucking Matrix.
All I had to do was shut up. Shut up. Take the money. Wear the stupid hat. Wave around the stupid drink. Whatever it is. And continue.
He's talking about selling out. And eSign.com, you don't want to ever sell out to anybody. eSign.com. Seriously, eSign.com. Don't you ever sell out to anybody, really. And, you know, and Andrew Tate, God love him, he didn't sell out eSign.com. And I would never eSign.com sell out, ever.
To agree with whatever the Matrix says, regardless of my own personal feelings, my personal views and beliefs.
Oh, by the way, there's no Matrix.
And just push it on the minds of young children. And I refuse to do that. I refuse to sell my soul. If I would have sold my soul to a large corporation, and then this attack happened, which I very much doubt this level of Matrix attack would have even happened to me.
Okay. I'm not going to watch any more of this because it's just dribble. You know, if somebody...
Bruce Rivers. Bruce Rivers couldn't even finish. He could, I'm telling you, chat. Yesterday's stream was exhausting. Y'all got to give me props for that. Hearing him just sit there talking about this Matrix, it gives you a fucking headache. Like, your mind starts to actually go crazy because you're like, dude, there is no Matrix. There's just you and yourself snitching. Your big mouth. You couldn't shut up. What? You know what I'm saying? Bruce Rivers is like, listen, the moment he said Matrix again, he's like, I'm done. I'm sorry. I can't do this. I can't do this shit, bro. Like, I'm done. He's calling it quits. I don't blame him. All right, these guys are fucking exhausting, dude. Like, it's just like, listen, I feel like my soul left my body covering this bullshit, bro. I feel like an empty fucking shell because I feel drained. You guys are just draining of all energy. That's what it is. Because you harp on the same point, and you guys are wrong, but people still support you, and it's crazy. This guy's out here talking about Matrix, and they're gonna cancel me while sitting here in this boxers, and clearly going on off hinge. Like, this guy's crazy now. He's going through it. He's definitely going through it. There is no Matrix. They're just the crimes he committed and the evidence, which we will see in court. And the more he talks, the worse it gets for him. The worse it gets. Now we're locking you down under house arrest. And I guarantee you the next 30 days, they're going to lock you down. And matter of fact, I'll make a prediction. They'll probably keep you under house arrest for the duration of your trial. They could do that. While you're sitting out here running your mouth thinking you can get the upper hand because your Twitter fans and your YouTube followers and your TikTok followers are going to be behind you. But at the end of the day, they're not going to do shit. It's going to be you in that cell. So sitting here just taunting the government is such a bad idea, bruh. You never taunt the government, okay? Because now then ego gets involved. And when ego gets involved, you're fucking toast. You're toast. And Bruce Rivers brought up an interesting point, because this is a point that I didn't consider. But the more Andrew Tate keeps talking shit, the more I'm going to have to start considering that he might actually not get a fair trial. And the reason why he's not getting a fair trial is not because of the goddamn Matrix again. It's because of his goddamn mouth. He's not going to get a fair trial because people are going to be watching this. And this is going to be a high-profile case. So, of course, prosecutors are going to be watching them. Of course, the judges are going to be watching them. Are you kidding me? They're going to be watching it. So if they're watching you say what you're saying about the government, talking trash about them, talking about how corrupt they are, and tie it up to this Matrix thing that they know and you know doesn't fucking exist, egos are gonna get involved. And when egos get involved, it's gonna get that much worse for you. Stop self-snitching. Stop taunting the government. Just shut the fuck up until your trial. And maybe, just maybe, the next time your attorneys go in and try to file for an appeal, the judge might look favorably upon thee. Because right now, you're acting like you can take it all and still look tough. You're crumbling on the inside, dude. Maybe your audience don't see this shit yet, but we do, because we're not stupid. We see a broken man. We know a broken man when we see one, okay? And we're looking at you, bro. Yeah. Even though you could put this false bravado, or you could take all the hits like Teflon Don and still be out here bouncing and moving and boxing it out, right? Stop it. That's not how you get help. You got to join that empowerment network that MLD's got going on, all right? You got to join the Inner Game Healing Network. Matter of fact, actually, you know what, Andrew Tate? I got something for you, bro. I got something for you. Maybe if you watch this might actually help you out, okay? So just let me know if you can watch this.
Hi, this is MLD, and I'm the leader of the Masculine Empowerment Network. And I'm here today with a very special message with you in regards of the recent situations that have happened to me, my community, and my image here on the internet. As many of you know, I was recently a victim of a baseless cyber attack from a group of hate-filled individuals that tried to paint me in a negative light in order to damage the work that I do for the men in my community and the men of my world every single day since I started live streaming in 2019. Thankfully, all of their lies and manipulation have been disproven by me and the men within my organization. These critics are now permanently silent. However, I'm going to be very honest with you. During this time, my mental health did take a hit. For weeks, I received slanderous comments, death threats, nasty direct messages from so many people on so many platforms all over my social media and anywhere I was going. This is commonly known as cyberbullying, and it was a terrible experience to go through. On a daily basis, I could feel my anxiety rising, my stress rising, a creeping feeling of self-doubt lingering in the back of everything I did. And overall, it was just not a good experience to go through. As many of you know, right now, we're in the middle of a cultural war. And as a leader in this movement, it is up to me to be strong. And thankfully, I have a group of experts in my community that specialize in mental health. And with their support, I was able to get through this awful time in my life and continue to bring the value to the community that I have built online, which is based around one thing and one thing only: helping men. I am not online to be popular. I am not online to gain favor with anybody. My message is very pure, and that is the message of self-improvement, specifically targeting the audience of men like you watching at home right now. Without the support group that I have cultivated over the years, I definitely know that it would have been way harder for me to get through this awful time. But I have emerged triumphant, and I'm here today to let you know that you do not have to be alone either.
Andrew
I
Tate.
know that the average man is a victim of today's mainstream narrative, which is constantly focused around one thing and one thing only: tearing men down.
Andrew Tate,
you see it on the news, you see it on social media, you see it in video games, music, movies, dramas. Everywhere you go, they are just focused on tearing men down with their hate-filled agenda.
Andrew
And
Tate,
men are losing hope today because they have no support system, they have no self-esteem, and everywhere they go, they're being victimized simply for the fact that they are men. This is absolutely having a devastating effect on the average male in today's Western population. And you can see it when you take a look at the average man around you. Anxiety, depression, feelings of hopelessness, and a general sense of giving up on life. Choosing a life of leisure, drugs, addiction, and many, many, many more dark vices have become commonplace for the average man to delude himself in, to escape from the daily psychological attacks he receives from the moment he wakes up on every single platform available. This is devastating, it is not good, and it must stop. This is why I have created the Inner Game Healing Summit. In Q1 of this year, we had over 260 men join our community with the unified goal of strengthening our mental health together as men in this hostile modern world against men. This community is designed to help men strengthen their mind, understand the foundations of good psychological practices to engage in on a daily basis in order to give them a very sound mind in today's crazy world.
Andrew Tate, I think you're definitely going to benefit from what the MLD's got going on over here. I think, honestly, he's on to something here, all right? So, Andrew Tate, listen, your fans are worried about the tweets you're tweeting over here, all right? They don't know if you're going to make it. They don't know what's going on with your mental health, all right? Because you're tweeting this stuff over here talking about, I'm struggling to sleep for months now. I haven't slept for more than 45 minutes uninterrupted. I guess you could say I'm struggling with my mental health, but I ensure I smile every day. I am never miserable. That's a goddamn lie. All right. You need the healing network. Okay. MLD started it. Over 200 people, 60 people signed up, and they are underway to having a better health. Okay. Better mental health. All right. So, Andrew Tate, I think you should give MLD a call. You guys are on the same cohort there. So, I hope this works out for you. All right. But at the end of the day, while you're doing that, how about you stay off of social media and stop taunting the government or talking shit, because you're landing yourself in deeper trouble than you would have otherwise been in, and it's honestly starting to get ridiculous. So yeah, be too cool. Shout out to you for the $5 super chat. It says, yo, Duke, Andrew Tate got his lawyer from Rent-A-Center. He says, you didn't know? I didn't know that. Someone was saying that his attorney actually does like work with like criminal organizations. So I wouldn't be surprised, because his lawyer is stupid. His lawyer is dumb. His lawyer doesn't know anything. And realistically, I don't blame him. Can you control Andrew Tate? I don't think so. I don't think so, bro. But he has, listen, the only asset he has right now that the government can't take away is the social media, is the Twitter, all right? So that's what it is. He's going to capitalize that as much as he can. And what he's doing to capitalize on it, I don't think it's actually helping him. I think it's actually making his scenario look way worse, and it's actually going to keep getting worse because they're going to lock him in. And guys, this is what it looks like when the walls finally start closing in on you, and this is what being right actually looks like. So how about we just stop, thinking with our emotions, because it's our favorite red pill content creator and we desperately want him to be free. But honestly, you need to start looking at facts, the thing that you guys claim to like, right? Start looking at that, because those facts will start to make you realize this guy is probably guilty, and hopefully it starts to prep your mind a little bit on what's going to be coming to your favorite boss, because it's not going to last too long for this guy. Muad'Dib, shout you for the $5 super chat. He says this fucking fat fraud will empower men with cheap liposuction, telling women to endure physical and mental abuse. Maybe him and Pearl should get together. Facts. Him, Pearl, and a couple other people, I think they need to endure some shit going on right now, bro. But god damn it, chat, I appreciate you being here. You know how I like my ones and twos, so we go ahead and vote in the chat, and don't forget to leave a like before you go. All right, but listen, put a 1 in the chat if you absolutely believe that this is gonna get worse moving forward, or put a 2 in the chat if Andrew Tate's right and this is all just one big understanding, and when trial comes to date, they'll find him innocent. Personally, I think the more he talks, the worse this gets, and I think he should probably stop, because it's not looking too good. It's like, bruh, listen, just stop talking and just start sucking up to these judges, or figuring out how you can get yourself out of the situation, because it's not looking good. But let me know in the chat, and on your way out, don't forget to hit the like button, and I'm gonna catch you on the next one. Peace.